Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
I thought we're all equal under the law, but that doesn't seem to be the case, officer. You can see the photo evidence, right?
Yeah. No, I can see it.
Good. I'm just trying to make sense of it.
I get that, but you can speak with corporate communications.
Have you been ordered not to make any comment, or you just don't want to?
Both.
It's both. That's a simple yes or no answer. I'm just asking if you bent the knee in solidarity of Black Lives Matter.
If you want a comment from the police service, I suggest you speak to corporate communications.
How would Miss Osborne know if you bent the knee at a protest? How would she even have that information? But you're the guy who's enforcing these laws, and it seems to be an arbitrary way.
Yeah, true.
Okay, then.
Yep.
So you admit it's arbitrary. David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. Well, folks, I'm at Queen's Park. It's the grounds of the legislature. And like so many cities the world over today, on Saturday, May 15th, there are huge anti-lockdown protests, and already thousands have gathered in the park. More are coming, I can see. And it's very curious. I see a large presence, as usual, in terms of law enforcement. And you know that since January, the relationship of law enforcement and the demonstrators took a drastic change for the worse. In other words, they were being ticketed, they were being dragged away, arrested, confined, put in jail cells. And for what exactly? Well, we know from virologists that you have an almost 0% chance of getting the coronavirus via outdoor transmission. So what is the public health risk? And more to the point, why are some outdoor demonstrations okay and others, like an anti-lockdown demonstration, verboten? You know, our good friend Joe Warmington noted in the Sun last week that the large demonstration of pro-Hamas demonstrators outside the Israeli consulate in Toronto, it attracted a police presence, but zero law enforcement took place. And we know for a fact that what triggers law enforcement is the display of signs and flags. Do you remember this clip of a police radio transmission that we intercepted? Here, check it out. Well, folks, I'm looking at tons of flags, tons of signs for the terrorist Hamas group, and yet the police don't react. But then again, it's par for the course. A few months ago, we went by Yonge Dundas Square, which since January has been declared a no man's land by Mayor John Tory, and lo and behold, look what we saw. Tamil Tiger terrorist supporters. Check it out. In Toronto, Canada, proudly flying a flag that displays a tiger's head next to a couple of automatic weapons and a halo of bullets. So if you're Black Lives Matter, if you're pro-Hamas, if you're pro-Tamil Tigers, you're free to protest in Toronto. But if you're about anti-lockdowns, if you're about embracing your constitutional rights and freedoms, the police, for some reason, take a dim view of that. Well, you know what? I'm going to go and ask some of these police why that is. Why can you protest? Why can you have a protest in favor of a terrorist group, but waving a Canadian flag, quoting biblical passages, this is somehow egregious and the person must be either served with a ticket or jailed? That's not right. And by the way, you might recall in January 2020, folks, I covered the terrorist-in-chief Qasem Soleiman's vigil right here in Toronto outside the U.S. Embassy. I actually had a member of the Toronto Police Service threaten me with arrest or repercussions if I even dared utter the T word. Check out this disgrace.
Okay.
So I can't call a terrorist a terrorist?
You're not in this sort of environment. No, you can't. Okay, because that's going to incite a breach of the peace.
So,
and that is Canadian law. Am I clear?
If I was to call Osama bin Laden a terrorist, that would be against.
Question, please. Am I clear?
I know you're not clear, sir. I can't call Osama bin Laden.
And it incites a breach of the peace. You will be placed under arrest. You understand?
Terrorist? Oh, what am I going to be arrested for?
Law.
What am I going to be arrested for,
Breach of
sir?
the peace.
Yeah, so there you have it, folks. Displaying a Canadian flag, bad. Showing compassion for terrorism. Okay, well, we are living in the dominion in which we gave our homegrown Al-Qaeda Omar Khadr an 8-figure check for his carnage. And anyways, let's see what these members of law enforcement have to say in trying to unravel this double standard. There was a big pro-Hamas terrorism group rally outside the Israeli consulate on Monday. There's the members of the Toronto Police Service just looking but not ticketing. How do they get a pass and people that wave Canadian flags or signs at an anti-lockdown protest get arrested or ticketed, sir?
I can't make any comments on that.
You can't, right? But you can see the photo evidence, right?
I can see it.
This is a picture on Monday. Yes, these are the pro-Hamas demonstrators outside the Israeli consulate.
Saw that.
Lots of police, not a single ticket issued. But here in Queen's Park, you wave a Canadian flag for the last several months, you can be hauled away in a paddy wagon. How do you make sense of this?
It's discrimination, plain and simple. That's all it is.
You're on the ground. I thought you could. I'm just trying to make sense of it.
I get that, but you can speak with corporate communications.
The problem is we're telling the truth. We're trying to save what's happening to our Canada. I don't care if these people want to protest, but yeah, absolutely give us the same consideration.
Yes, same respect.
Officers, can anyone else weigh in on why the pro-Hamas demonstration on Monday outside the Israeli consulate was tolerated, no tickets, no arrests, but waving a Canadian flag, quoting biblical passages here at Queen's Park? Did that get you in trouble? No. How about yourself, sir? Sir, anything to say about the double standard here?
No comment.
How do you make sense of this double standard?
Well, I don't know either, because I have $3,000 worth of tickets for going to an event with about 12 people, and all I was doing was I was telling people about our website, gargle-now.com.
What is the problem with you exercising your freedom of speech in terms of getting your message out? Why did you get those tickets?
Well, I don't know yet. It just said something about violating the Emergency Act. Yeah. So I was literally out on the street with about 10 people, chatting with them, talking about information, and the police came to my house twice. The first time they came and they verified my name, and they said that they were doing a wellness check. Was I all right? And it really freaked me out.
The police officers have medical degrees now?
Well, they came, apparently some family member came and wanted to know if I was all right. This was after I'd been to a rally. Okay. And I checked my family members and nobody solicited that.
How about yourself, sir? Can you explain?
Make any comment.
You can't make any comment?
No.
Have you been ordered not to make any comment, or you just don't want to?
Both.
It's both. Okay, then that's interesting.
I think it's about equity and not equality. When you take a look at BLM, they're burning places down, they're looting and rioting. But when we want freedom, it's a different story. If you take a look at all of what Justin Trudeau has done, all of this money to other countries to help them, well, why are we not helping our own here first? Because whatever fits their agenda that week that they plan, it's totally okay. But if the people don't comply with what they want at that minute, it's against the rules, it's against the law. Let's lock them up, let's do all this, let's have all this here for what? We don't need any security, we don't need any enforcement here. We're not breaking any law, because the law is we are free people, but they don't want to accept that and they don't let us have that. So that's why we're here today.
You know, you make good points, and one thing you said about the BLM demonstrators when they start vandalizing. At the south end of the grounds, you can see you can't see the statue of Prime Minister John A. Macdonald. It was vandalized with paint. It's boarded up. There's a garbage bag over his head. And those people that did that skated. Meanwhile, Adam Skelly, who in November opened his restaurant, was raided by the mounted unit. And even if you can imagine, sir, sent a bill for the policing costs, which was $187,000. How do you explain that double standard?
I have no idea. I think, again, it fits their agenda. It fits the narrative that they want to push, that these smaller businesses like that, they want to stop letting them have these tax breaks and all these other programs and benefits that they have, because I don't know, they want to regain money back somehow by shutting them down. I have no idea.
I'm just trying to understand the rules, guys. You know, if I wave the flag or the slogan of a terrorist group, that's okay in Toronto, but a Canadian flag is offensive? You know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I have to say, ma'am, that I think there's something more than the virus here. We've reached out to all these police, not a single one would comment on the double standard. What do you think is going on?
Honestly, in my opinion, these guys, I don't know, maybe they just like the power and they don't even really want to admit that they are doing wrong and breaking their oath.
Why the double standard, sir?
Why don't you talk to me?
This is my
Okay then. Thank you, sir.
I'm going to ask you to step back because you're too close.
Are you really that scared, sir? Standing up as a Canadian, waving a Canadian flag, embracing your charter rights and freedoms, did you ever dream you'd see a day when people doing that in this city on the lawns of the legislature would actually be arrested for doing so?
No, I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. I knew this was going to be happening, but definitely not in my lifetime. And I will be here till the end, and I'm supporting all Canadians, Ontarians, and open up, stop the lockdown, open your businesses. They can't all shut you down.
People waving a Canadian flag or quoting biblical passages, they get arrested. Can you please make sense of that to me?
No. If you want to get a comment, you can speak with our Corporate Communications Bureau.
Okay, we're in a bit of a catch-22. If I reach out for comment, they don't comment. What's the point? Even Mr. Warmington couldn't get a comment from the city or the police when writing this article.
Well, I wish I could help you, but I don't have any comments that I can make.
Folks, I interrupt this video for a very urgent message. You know it's only a matter of time before the Silicon Valley tech giants come and crush Rebel News, or at least try to crush Rebel News once and for all. We're not going to let that happen. Please go to rebelnews.com. That's rebelnews.com. We need you to sign up with us there on our website. We need your phone number. We need your email address. We do not share your personal information with anyone else, but if we can get that information from you, you can maintain your relationship with Rebel News going forward in the future. Some outdoor gatherings get trounced upon, others get ignored, or even the police bend a knee.
Exactly.
But we're being told since day one, all the decisions are being driven by science. How does a virus pick and choose?
It doesn't. This is part, David, I know maybe people are going to call me conspiracy theory, or theorist or whatever, but this is all part of an agenda.
Oh, it is.
If there was no agenda, they'd go after everybody equally.
You guys are here. You guys are writing the tickets. I'm just trying to get an understanding why, whether it's the Hamas terrorist organization, the Tamil Tigers terrorist organization, the supporters of which were flying that flag at Yonge Dundas Square a couple of months ago, they go unmolested.
I can't explain the double standard whatsoever. It's mind-blowing because we've been doing this for, I don't know, about a year and a half now. Started at Dundas Square. There's been
which is a no man's land unless you're a pro-Tamil Tiger terrorist supporter, which we saw.
That's what I was just going to say, is that they had a pro, exactly, I don't know exactly what it was, but they had a pro thing there, and no cops, no tickets, no issues. We're fighting for these guys' freedoms along with ours, right? And I don't understand how they can sit there and ticket somebody who's fighting for you. I mean, Black Lives Matter came through here and they wanted to defund the police. No tickets there, no nothing there. They still have
vandalized the statues too.
Vandalized. They have, burn cops signs everywhere, all this and that, but they don't arrest them. They don't give them tickets.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, officer. I'm just trying to understand what the rules are. It seems to me that if you support a pro-terrorism organization, it's hands off. But if you wave a flag, a Canadian flag, in the lawns of the legislature, you're arrested. I don't get it.
I'm sorry you don't get it. I'm not going to make any comments. None of these officers are going to be making any comments to you.
Yeah, you'll be carrying out the arrests and the ticketing, though, right?
They're not playing fair with anything in life, right? Because we've seen how Costco is still open, Walmart's still open. Meanwhile, you can't open. I have friends that are small businesses, have a restaurant. They can only let two. At the time, it was 5 people in a time. Now they're closed. They can't only. So it's not fair.
So, my only advice to you is just keep trying corporate communications.
But you are the ones. You're well armed. You've got your ticket books. You're the ones enforcing what I see to be a completely double standard law. I thought we're all equal under the law, but that doesn't seem to be the case, officer. if you come down with laryngitis or something. You know, you make good points. And one thing you said about the BLM demonstrators when they start vandalizing, at the south end of the grounds, you can see you can't see the statue of Prime Minister John A. Macdonald. It was vandalized with paint. It's boarded up. There's a garbage bag over his head. And those people that did that skated. Meanwhile, Adam Skelly, who in November opened his restaurant, was raided by the mounted unit. And even if you can imagine, sir, sent a bill for the policing costs, which was $187,000. How do you explain that double standard?
I have no idea. I think, again, it fits their agenda. It fits the narrative that they want to push, that these smaller businesses like that, they want to stop letting them have these tax breaks and all these other programs and benefits that they have, because I don't know, they want to regain money back somehow by shutting them down. I have no idea.
You know what? Maybe you're onto something. Remember, Justin Trudeau said the budget will balance itself. Maybe it's all these Wuhan virus fines that are going to balance the budget.
It's hilarious to me, because someone of his position is going to say something so poor, because Payless said the exact same thing. The budget will balance itself. What happened to them? They were out of business. There's no more stores of Payless, and so that's what's going to happen. Our freedoms are going to strip away, like Payless stripped their business away from strictly saying the budget will balance itself, and they didn't even pay attention to factual evidence.
I'm not really sure how much clearer I can make it, sir.
Okay, so no one's going to... You know what? In many respects, officer, I can't blame you. How do you explain the inexplicable? This is just terrible, this kind of double standard we see here. We saw last summer, not only did you guys turn a blind eye to much larger Black Lives Matter protests, but you actually bent the knee in solidarity, including the then former chief. Why was that?
You'll have to ask the then former chief then. I'm not going to make any comments on that. I don't know why our former chief did what he did or didn't do. You can ask him.
Including many members of the service too.
You can ask those members then.
That's right.
And the police went one measure further with that, sir, going back to last summer. Bending the knee in solidarity with them, including the former chief.
Yeah, that's absurd. I mean, I went to the one that was outside of headquarters, and I had a sign, "Defund the police, are you stupid?" And with my daughter, and I was getting cussed at. I had to take her away because they just, didn't want to have a conversation about it at all. Yeah. It's like, take money away from the police. Well, what are you going to do when somebody attacks you? What are you going to do when you need somebody's help?
So why in the world would police bend a knee to that philosophy?
I have no idea. The government right now and society right now is just out of whack. It's insane. Don't even get started on Trudeau and the upper management.
Well, I hope you're not decked out in orange at the end of the day like these...
Hey, you know what? I'd be proud to be decked out in orange. I will not give my name. I will not bend the knee.
Did you bend the knee that time?
There's no comment, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a simple yes or no answer. I'm just asking if you bent the knee in solidarity with Black Lives Matter.
If you want a comment from the police service, I suggest you speak to corporate communications.
But how would Miss Osborne know if you bent the knee at a protest? How would she even have that information?
Sir, I'm not really sure how much clearer I can make it for you.
That's the problem. It's not clear at all, sir.
Okay. So try corporate communications.
All right. Well, we're at a Mexican standoff, if we can still use that term, folks. So you heard it yourself. I'm the reach out to corporate communications to find out if Officer Gurr bent the knee last summer. How would they even have that information, or is the level of police surveillance that advanced that information does exist? And we've intercepted police radio calls saying arrest anyone with a flag, meaning a Canadian flag or a sign. And I'm just wondering if offensive T-shirts are next.
I hope not. I love my T-shirt.
Well, it's not that I'm offended, ma'am. I'm talking about the powers that be being offended.
I'm sure it'll happen, but I'll take the chance. I'll take a ticket for that. Yes, I will. Yes, proudly.
All right. Well, I hope you're not in a paddy wagon by the end of the day.
I hope you're not either. The most action I've seen in a long time.
Hey-oh! But you're the guy who's enforcing these laws, and it seems to be an arbitrary way.
Yeah, true.
Okay, then.
Yep.
So you admit it's arbitrary. All right, well, that's an admission at least. I once saw a guy put a toonie in a Coke machine. The soda didn't come out, and he spent like 20 minutes arguing with it. I kind of feel like that guy right now. Well, folks, you probably heard the news by now. YouTube is undoubtedly coming to kill us. They have completely demonetized us. The other day, they gave us a strike for no good reason whatsoever. So please, we want you to stay in touch with Rebel News. Go to rebelnews.com. That's rebelnews.com. We need some of your personal information, such as your email or cell phone number. Trust me, we don't share that with anyone, but we want to remain relevant to you, and we can't depend on YouTube any longer.